What is success in lifelong learning? What does it look like when you're
I think it's keep trying and learning how to let go.
Phil for you? Letting go?
Yes, like not keep holding on to grudges or, understanding that you have this feeling and then like moving forward, making, time expirations on your feelings like, oh, I didn't do well on this test. I can retake it. I'm going to, you always make a plan, right? You fail a test and you have to retake it. Okay, I'm going to study. This is how much time I'm going to study, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you have feelings around the test and you have all this plan for your next test, you should probably also make a plan on letting your feelings go about the test.
Something around
Because
acceptance.
Yes, because you've gotta understand that that was just a learning experience, and it doesn't mean that you're a better or worse person. Or you might not be great at testing.
Yeah.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I'm terrible at testing. I failed my first OT test, and it's not that I don't know how to do it. If it was a practical and I had to, like, verbally or do some sort of scenario in person, I would have been great. But the second you put me in a cube room with a screen and I'm just supposed to sit here for hours on end. It's
Yeah.
just not a good recipe for success for me.
Right.
And I've always known that about myself and I've been working on it and I'm definitely getting better. So but it takes time and you have to let it go. You can't keep harboring all those feelings forever. It eats you away.
Yeah. I'm hearing resilience.
Yeah.
I'm hearing acceptance,
Yes.
like having a can-do attitude,
Yeah.
but also awareness of where you are.
Realistic. You
Yeah.
have to have a realistic mindset and you have to put realistic expectations on everything that you're doing. You can't expect to run a sub 3-hour marathon if you've never ran a marathon before.
You have to start from where you are.
Yes.
And I think,
And be okay with that.
yeah,
And stop comparing yourself to other people because they don't matter.
well, you'll never get to where you want to be if you don't
If
kind of
you're,
suffer
yes,
through being imperfect.
if you
I
don't
talk about this a lot.
focus on where you're at
Yeah.
and you're too busy like looking over there,
Yeah.
it's not going to set you up for success.
And making those
Yeah.
small improvements along the
Yes.
way. You're not going to go from my daughter's been running and
Hmm.
she wants to get to an 8-minute mile,
Oh,
somewhere around there.
that makes me happy.
And it's hard. I run with her and
Yeah.
I probably hold her back, but um, we're not going to get to an 8-minute mile until we get to a 9.5-minute mile, until
Oh,
we get to a
yes.
9-minute mile,
Yes.
until we get a 8:45-minute mile, until we get 8:30.
Well,
It's this gradual iteration towards the goal.
yes, and having an educational approach to the goal or making sure that you have a support team that can back that. Like her running coach, if she's in cross country, she has a cross country coach.
Yeah.
Her cross country coach is providing her program to be able to get closer to that.
Yeah.
As long as she continues to be consistent and works on it, she's going to start to see results. It might not be as fast as she wants it to be, but then we're going back to realistic expectations
Yeah.
because very, very experienced athletes are elated over a second, 1 second, one singular second of a PR
Mhm.
because they have gone so close to their threshold and they've been so experienced in doing this for so long. They don't have very much that they're going to be able, there's not going to be these big hops.
Right.
Whereas when I started marathoning, I shaved 20 minutes off of my time every marathon for the first 4 marathons. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
20 minutes?
20 minutes. But that's because I went from being really ignorant in the situation to still being ignorant, but less ignorant,
Yeah.
because I was kind of just
You were
flying by the seat
learning.
of my pants. The whole reason I got into marathoning is because somebody asked me to. They said, "Hey, I'm going to do the Houston Marathon. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Fine." And that's how I've gotten in a lot of things in my life. It was like,
And
that's how I got into powerlifting. That's how I got into cross country. My friend was running. She's like, "Hey, I got to go for a run. Do you want to run with
you
me?"
want to
And I was
go?
like, "Sure."
Yeah, I want to
And
hang.
then she was like, "Hey, I am on the cross country team. You should join it." And I was like, "Okay." And then I did because I had no guidance at home. So I was just like, well, I mean, I guess.
I'm really glad it wasn't like a negative influence, people asking you to do stuff Like, hey, we're gonna go rob this bank. You down? You'd be like, oh, okay, sure.
No, I mean, I'm sure I had some of that in my life too. I did have terrible people around me, but like,
Shenanigans.
yeah, most of the times that I made these big, like, weird changes in my life was because somebody just asked me.
Yeah.
And
And you said yes.
yes, but that was like just out of the ignorance and silliness of my little me.
Well,
It wasn't because
success
I was
could.
like, I'm scared and this sounds like a great idea, like today.
Yeah, it isn't through the lens of
Yeah.
this
No.
like,
Which,
but it is saying yes to new opportunity. That's
yeah.
part of lifelong learning. You're saying yes to
Yeah.
experience. You're saying yes, and I imagine there were things that you tried through saying yes that you said, "Oh, these
Oh,
aren't for me."
yeah. Yeah.
But then things that were for you, you continued doing.
Yes. Yeah.
So there was like this default or a little bit of bias towards letting experience be your teacher.
Yes.
I'm going to experience it and then make a decision.
Yes.
As
Yeah.
opposed to, when I think about running, that seems like something that you do all that, mental stuff. You're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to get out there
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
do
I
it.
had a huge mental setback about my education for years because I have 14 certifications, but like I acquired them and I, appreciate them. And none of that information has left my brain. It's not like an expiration date and then it explodes out of your brain. But I never valued it as much as like everybody else's college education. But it's not true. That's not factual. It's just as important. It's just different.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, I was really scared to go to school. And that's why I didn't start school. I didn't even know it was an opportunity, though. Let's get that straight. Because I knew school was expensive and I didn't know how anybody did it unless you had parents that paid for it or you were DJ Smarty Pants and you could just get it paid for because they were like, she's smart. I'm going to give her money.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think that it was like going to even be an opportunity. And then one of my clients actually paid for my first semester.
Oh,
And that's what pushed me because I was just like, you know, kind of dragging my heels. And I mentioned it to her once. And then she was like, how much is it? And I was like, oh, it's like $600, like I'm just going to try to save up money. And then she just wrote me a check. She's like, this is nothing, which is gross that she
you had a
acted like that,
patron. You had a
but she
patron.
like, she supported me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and then I did it, and now I want to reach out to her because she definitely moved away, and I just want to be like, now I have 3 degrees. Aren't you proud of me?
Boom.
Yeah, she'd be really happy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Success in lifelong learning, from what I'm hearing, is keep trying.
Yes.
So I think like fall down 5 times, get up 6.
8.
Fall down 7
Yeah.
times, get up 8. Like
Yeah.
you're not letting failure be the end of the story.
Well,
You're
reflect.
continuing to
Yeah.
move forward.
Reflect on why you fell down.
Yeah.
Look
Then,
at
yeah.
your whole picture. When you test out for lifting, let's say you're doing your deadlift test and you already PR'd the last time you tested out, and this is like 8 weeks later.
PR means personal record.
Yes. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So you, you went through all your programming, you were consistent with your programming, but you didn't do better than your previous test out.
Mhm.
Well, then you need to look at what are you doing? Like, how's your stress management? How's your hydration? How's your
Sleep.
nutrition?
Yeah.
How's your sleep hygiene? What are you doing in your life that's consistent? Is the timing of your sleep consistent? Or are you getting 8 hours, but sometimes it starts at 3 a.m. and then sometimes it starts at 9 a.m.?
Mhm.
There's all these different factors that play into part. If you're a female, when is your cycle? And when was your cycle the last time you PR'd? That is huge. How's the weather? Because that can affect it too. If it's really hot, then you sweat more, then you could be more dehydrated.
Yeah.
Running, it affects more because there's all these elements: wind, heat, cold. All these things could potentially make you not as optimal as the previous time.
So it's like awareness.
Yes.
Success at lifelong learning is some awareness of all the factors that go into what you're doing, what
Yes.
you're
Body
attempting.
awareness, spatial awareness.
And then kind of like routine awareness,
Yes.
ritual
Emotional awareness.
emotional awareness.
Yes.
Because that gets to that letting go part. A part of success is not letting the emotions rule you,
Yes.
but kind of probably letting them be around enough to motivate you,
Yeah.
but not enough to bring you down.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, last last Wednesday was awesome for me, as much as I previously told you that I had a really bad day, but it didn't affect my lifting. It actually probably made it better because I was upset.
Because you were lifting hard
I
when
was
you're upset?
I don't typically, because I'm usually too in my feels, but I focused on what I was there to do instead of all the other exterior things that were frustrating me or, bothering me. And I ended up PRing in everything that I did. And it was insane and crazy.
What?
Yeah. And it made me feel really great. And then it reminded me, you have to let go and you have to just, it's just a leaf on a river, let it pass.
Yeah.
Recognize it, but let it go.
Let it go.
Because you're gonna fog or blind yourself to new potential you if you keep just harboring old crap. That's probably more than likely made up in your mind anyway.
Well, the failures that we have, the falling down, the 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 next iteration is just as like meaningful as in a success, maybe even more so. You've learned something.
Yeah.
There's some kind of F around and find out that occurred there.
Yes.
And now you have found out.
Yeah.
And so you need to approach it differently, with, maybe through ritual changes, body changes, all
Yes.
those things you were talking about. But mindset is going to get you through that.
Yes. And like recognizing like what's important to you. I think that a lot of people get hung up on what their social status or like schedule should be, and I think that socializing is very important, but learning how to balance it. You don't have to party every day. You can party, but not every day. You need to learn how to do like a 90-10. Like, are you 90% following your true self and 10% just kind of go on a whim? Or is it
Messing
the other
around.
way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you need to live.
You need to, well, when you say partying, it's like you need
Oh,
relaxation. You need
partying,
kind of like,
eating a dozen donuts,
yeah,
going out and staying up late.
being fancy free, kind of
Yes.
like indulging
Not
in,
having a strict regimented schedule or, having pancakes for breakfast even though you didn't run. Like, you don't need to have all these parameters all the time,
yeah,
but you still have to understand and be true to yourself and realistic with yourself. If you give yourself too many freebies or gifts or gold stars, one, how cool are they anymore? Like, they're losing their value and worth
yeah.
because it's just now a day-to-day thing in your life. Chips and salsa rock my world,
Oh, yeah.
and it's because I don't eat it every day.
Chips and queso, girl. What are you
Chips
talking
and
about?
guac and queso mixed together. Ah,
Oh, yeah.
yes. But
We're talking about discipline now.
yeah, discipline is important.
We're talking about discipline.
But that goes with everything else. How can you have emotional awareness and spatial awareness and all of that other stuff if you don't have discipline?
Yeah,
Because you have to be disciplined to be able to understand or recognize any of those things we talked about.
yeah. Dang.
You can't have consistency if you don't know how to be disciplined.
Right.
Your teeth are going to rot.
Ritual is discipline is a part of ritual. Letting go is a part of discipline. Is also a part of letting go.
Everything's interconnected.
Keep trying. That's also
Yeah.
part of discipline.
Yes.
Because and it's kind of an allegiance to yourself.
Yeah.
There's this like, hey, I got my back.
Yes.
I am my best supporter. Period.
I care about me.
Me.
And understanding that you're worth it.
Yeah.
Because that's where I feel most lies with most of my clients is that they don't think they deserve it.
Self-worth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge.
Dang.
Yeah.